The solving circle is a useful concept developed by Dr. Glasser to help people understand relationships and find ways to work through issues and problems. C.G. Jung stated at the end of World War II that our technological progress was moving much faster than our ability to get along with one another. We had developed weapons of mass destruction, but failed with social construction. As a culture, we often find ourselves unhappy in our relationships and find it easier to separate than to work it out. 50 years after Dr. Jung's observation, Dr. Glasser published Choice Theory. He repeated and affirmed Dr. Jung's assertion that we know how to do things technologically much more than we know how to get along with one another. Rodney King's plea still speaks to us decades after he asked, "Why can't we all just get along?" Dr. Glasser names external control as a major cause of why we can't get along. External control is what we do to try to make someone else do what we think they should do because we know it's the right thing for them. The problem comes when the one we are trying to change doesn't want to change the way we want. Let's take a look at Dr. Glasser's solving circle. It's a simple way to think about and work on a relationship. Just remember that simple isn't always easy. In a relationship, there are, of course, two people. We'll look at a couple. There's the she, and there's the he. They are a couple. When a problem arises in the relationship, it is often caused by one of them doing or not doing something the other wants them to do or not do. This becomes a problem when they begin to try to control one another to get what they want. When problems arise in a relationship, Dr. Glasser suggests drawing an imaginary circle around the couple. And then he points out that there is a third entity in the circle, the relationship itself. He then asks them some questions to get them to see if they want the relationship to work. Then he gets them to acknowledge that the only person they can control is themselves, not each other. If they are putting the relationship itself ahead of their individual wants, they have a chance of both getting what they want. When each individual works to answer this question before trying to control the other, a big step has been taken to heal the relationship and keep it healthy. The question is what I'm doing drawing us closer or driving us apart? There are some other questions that Dr. Glasser used when working with the solving circle. Are you here because you really want help, or are you here because you have already made up your mind to separate but want to be able to say that you've tried to get help? Very briefly, what do you believe is wrong with the relationship? Whose behavior can you control? Tell me one good thing about the relationship as it exists right now. Think of and tell me something that you are willing to do this coming week that you believe will help your relationship. Whatever it is, it must be something you can do yourself. It must not depend in any way on what your partner should or should not do. During this coming week, are you willing to try to think of an additional thing besides what you thought of here? And then do it, following the same "I can control only what I do" conditions as in the previous question? Admittedly, this is a very brief glimpse into what can be a very helpful way to work on a relationship. For more on the solving circle, read Choice Theory by Dr. William Glasser.